Good morning, lovely people of Earth. I hope that you are having the best day that you've ever had. Here's to you. Today, I would like to talk about, I have everything written down because I tend to ramble. My experience with the Kundalini energy moving and rising, and this general feeling of a lack of desire. So throughout this process, which I've only been on for 3 months, I should mention that. Well, I've been on it since I was about 9. I started meditating and getting into really spiritual things, and maybe even before that, and I just can't remember. I don't know. But I've been seriously pursuing the Kundalini rising. I've been seriously pursuing intentionally rising my Kundalini energy for about 3 months now. So this is only my experience with this rising of this energy. All of these journal entries, that's all it is, just my experience. What I have noticed is this not caring. But it's not caring, it's not a negative thing. It doesn't feel like depression or even apathy. It's more just this complete trust that I don't need to meddle in my own life. As a matter of fact, it feels like my meddling and desiring and wanting and clinging after things is what creates issues in my life, what creates suffering. I knew that intellectually before. I kind of understood that there was this process of letting go and allowing the divine to take over and make the decisions, and that in order to do that, you had to I had to give up my idea of what should be and what I want, and instead of trying to fit things into this narrow idea, that I needed to surrender all of it to God or the divine or whatever you want to call it, so that that part of me and part of the universe can do its work, and that I have free will. And with free will comes kind of like the shitty part of free will, is that you can choose to shut out the divine. You can choose to, the divine will always be working in your life and will always be present, but you can choose to make choices instead of allow the higher power to make the choices for you. Intellectually, I understood that. I had read about it and watched spiritual documentaries, and I've had a few instances in the past where I've been able to do that and things always worked out better. But now that this energy is moving, it's not an intellectual thing. It's this dance between myself and this universe outside of me, which feels like it's inside of me as well. It doesn't feel like there's a separation. It doesn't feel like there's me and then there's the outside world. It very much feels like I am a part of this whole, and what I put into it is what I get out of it. Or actually, it's not even that. It's more like I am being shown a mirror constantly in real time, that if I wave my hand, the mirror, my mirror image, this universe that is my mirror image, waves its hand back in real time. So I'm constantly creating my reality, but it's not really me creating my reality. It's this energy that wants to be running through me. The little I, the ego in me, can create my reality, and I might create it exactly the way that I want it. I might be able to do that, but it's never going to be, in my opinion, it's never going to be as beautiful and wonderful and big and loving and amazing as it would be if I just were able to truly and authentically, earnestly say, take my life and do what you will, and feel that, because it's not just a process of like intellectually saying, take my life. The words are important. They have a place. In my opinion, they have a place because they direct the energy and they direct the feeling, but they're not what really matters. They're just symbols to get a point across. The flow that has been occurring in my life since this energy started to move is absolutely incredible. Like my fiance, he'll be like, well, do you want to go see this movie? Do you want to go out to dinner? Do you want to like go bowling? Do you want to take a trip? Like kind of free to do what we want at certain times. It's the way my life is set up. And I truly don't care. I'm like, we can just sit here all day and I am fine. It's almost like I just feel like I am complete. The minute I'm awake, I'm alive, and I don't need anything to happen. I don't need anything to complete me. Now this is, mind you, not all the time. This feeling comes and goes. And interestingly enough, this is kind of where Kundalini is confusing for people and can be confusing for me, because I will feel like that for a couple of days. I'll be like, whatever, I don't care. If you want to go to Connecticut today and spend the entire day walking, that's totally cool. And then the next day, I'll be like, no, we are doing this one thing. It's what I want to do. And if we don't do it, I'm going to be miserable all day. So it's been like this weird extreme of not caring at all and knowing that I'm being taken care of and clinging to wanting to do one thing. And I've noticed that it's like been kind of teeter-tottering. How do you say that? I don't even know. Going back and forth between those two extremes, and now it's starting to even out where there's this feeling of more wanting spirit and spiritual things. And by spirit, I just mean the unseen. So like, I don't care if we go to the movies or we go out to dinner or we go bowling. I don't care. What I do very much care about, which I didn't before, or I've had moments of not caring, is making a connection with my fiance, making a connection with my children, enjoying their company, laughing, which you can't see the connection, you can't see the joy, you can't see the inner processes that are happening, but there's like this desire to be a higher energy or a higher vibration, and that's the desire. The desire really isn't anything to do with this physical world. So that's been interesting and awesome and wonderful and I wanted a happy relationship, but I had, before I met my fiance and before I had this Kundalini raising, I was like, I want a happy relationship, but it's got to fit in this way. He's got to be, someone who's, I don't know, self-employed. He's got to be taller than me. He's got to be born in this particular month, which, believe it or not, was a thing for a while. He's got to have a certain amount of money, and like, I actually did have a list of traits that I wanted him to have. That all goes out the window right now. And for me, anyway, it's the feelings behind things. It's the vibration and the energy behind things that matter to me. And they do matter now, where they sometimes don't. So, like all things with Kundalini that I've noticed in my journey is that it fluctuates and it goes to weird extremes, and this in and out process of like, I'm in it, I'm not in it, I'm really in it, I'm depressed, I'm angry. There's like such extremes, and it's so intense. This not caring and this kind of give it to the universe attitude has been the same process of like having no intention whatsoever, waking up and just being like, whatever happens today is totally cool with me. I don't care if I die. If I die today and that's what's meant to be, then that's cool. And that's interesting because for years now, I've always woken up and I write down my intentions for my life, my vision for my life, and my intentions for the day. For years, I've done that. And it's been super effective at creating a life that I enjoy, that I have freedom in, and the things that I care about have manifested. And I believe that that was part of that process. But now I don't do that. It just naturally stopped. I don't write down my vision for my life anymore. And I do write down intentions for the day, but they're focused on the highest possible emotions that I can feel, which emotions are vibrations and they raise your energy. So to me, they would be raising the Kundalini. And my thought and feeling on this is that if I can focus on these 4 emotions, which are enlightenment, peace, joy, and love. Those are the 4 that I focus on all day. That's my intention. That's my only intention for the day, is to focus on those 4, feeling those 4 emotions and living in those 4 emotions. And I feel that if I do that, does it matter if I'm not getting the things in the outside world that I want? Not really. And I have trouble wanting anyway right now. Like, yeah, I passed a sign, a billboard that said $495 million lottery jackpot. Buy your ticket today or some weird shit. And I drove by and I was like, what would I do with $495 million? Do I really even care? Would I really even care? I don't even know if I'd be all that excited. And that is a beautiful gift, because there's a flip side to everything. And with that, like, feeling of $495 million, oh my God, that's so, imagine, like, you get that and you're so excited and your whole life has changed. Then what does that mean you're lacking from not having it on the flip side? So there's just this kind of equanimity that's beautiful. And I'm rambling right now, but I just, I feel like my life is perfectly flowing. And the Kundalini has brought me this gift for now of perfect flowing. And I'm open to that changing, because it will, because that has been something I've noticed on the Kundalini journey as well, is it changes constantly. So that's my experience with wanting, not wanting, flowing. Goes back and forth, and when I'm in it, I feel like a Buddha. When I'm in that place of being able to give to the divine, I'm just so happy. And my best days are the days that I wake up and I have no intention for the day, and I'm just completely open to any surprise that life brings me, and I just truly surrender my entire life and my entire being to the divine. For me, I've noticed those are definitely, hands down, my best days. The days that I'm the happiest and the most fulfilled. I don't know. I hope that was helpful for you, and I will see you tomorrow.